Today, I'm going to give presentation on the topic called Living World. This is the first chapter of your NCERT. Before going into this chapter, we have to know about what is life. Life is defined as any system is capable of performing functions such as eating, metabolizing, excreting, breathing, moving, growing, reproducing, and response to the external stimuli. And life is a characteristic of living organisms. It can distinguish the latter from a dead organism or non-living thing. So, what is living? To describe living, it has mainly of 5 criteria. Those are growth, reproduction, metabolism, cellular organization, and consciousness. There are mainly of 2 features that distinguishes the living from non-living. Those are, first one is defining and second one is characteristic features. Defining features are only exhibited by living organisms and it does not have any exceptions. These are mainly of metabolism, cellular organization and consciousness. And second one is characteristic feature. Characteristic features are exhibited by both living and non-living organisms. So examples are growth and reproduction. These two comes under these characteristic features. All organisms on this earth, whether it is unicellular or multicellular or prokaryotic or eukaryotic, all have these defining property. Coming into the first characteristic feature, that is growth. Growth is an increase in size or mass, volume or number of cells. It can be either reversible or reversible process. The non-living objects also grow if we take increase in body mass as a criteria for growth. Mountains, boulders and sand mounds can grow. These are examples for the reversible growth. However, this kind of growth is exhibited by non-living objects by the accumulation of materials on the surface only. But the intrinsic growth is exclusively exhibited by only living organisms. Here we can clearly observe the plant growth and the mountain growth. Growth is mainly of 2 types. One is open type growth and another one is closed type of growth. Open type growth is only observed in plants and closed type of growth is observed in animals. Due to the presence of meristem in plants, it can show growth throughout their lifespan, but in animals, the growth is only at a fixed point of time. So this is the open type and closed type of growth. Growth in living organisms varies in unicellular and multicellular organisms. In unicellular organisms, growth and reproduction are mutually inclusive events. Bacteria divides by binary fission, that is, increase in cells, but that is reproduction also. These two phenomena are overlapping each other in unicellular organisms. Examples are bacteria, yeast, and protists. If we see in multicellular organisms, the growth and reproduction are mutually exclusive events. Reproduction is a biological phenomenon by which parents give birth to young ones of their own kind so that it can continue on earth. Reproduction is a characteristic feature. The examples are worker bees, infertile human couples, mules, and hinni. No non-living object is capable of reproducing or replicating by itself. There are 2 types of reproduction. First one is sexual reproduction and second one is asexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction means the production of new organisms by the combination of genetic information of 2 individuals of different sexes. And asexual reproduction, it is a mode of reproduction by which offspring arise from a single organism and inherit the genes of the parent only. These asexual reproduction mainly of 5 types: binary fission, fragmentation, budding, sporulation, and regeneration. Binary fission means the division of a single parental cell into 2 new cells. And fragmentation, it is a form of asexual reproduction where a fragment of the parent breaks off and develops into an entirely new but genetically identical individual. The parent will then regenerate or regrow the piece of that broke off. So in the end, there are two new individuals formed from the one parent. And third one is budding. Budding or blastogenesis is a type of asexual reproduction in which a new organism develops from an outgrowth or bud due to cell division at one particular site. For example, the small bulb-like production coming out from the yeast cell is known as a bud. And fourth one, sporulation. Sporulation refers to the formation of spores from vegetative cells during unfavorable environmental conditions. As such, it may be described as an adaptive response that allows the organism to survive given adverse condition. Example, radiation, extreme heat or cold, lack of nutrition, etc. And the last one is regeneration. It is a type of asexual reproduction in which the organism is capable of regrowing certain body parts. Regeneration occurs via mitosis. Lizards can regenerate their tails, starfish can regenerate their arms, while humans have the ability to regenerate their liver to a certain extent. Example for regeneration are planaria, nothing but flatworms. Here are the examples for budding and regeneration. Separation of a small fragment has the capacity to regenerate a complete body in planaria. If we see here, this is the complete body of the planaria. A small fragment separated from their body. It has the capacity to regenerate a complete body in planaria. Another defining feature is metabolism. Metabolism means all living organisms are made up of chemicals and these chemicals being made and changed into some other biomolecules. These conversion or chemical reactions are metabolic reactions. These are either anabolic or catabolic reactions. The etymology of anabolism means ana means up and bolism means to throw. That means larger molecules are formed. Example is photosynthesis. Catabolism means breakdown process. Example is respiration. Metabolic reactions are mainly of two types. Those are in vitro and in vivo reactions. In vitro reactions are test tube or outside a living cell, and in vivo reactions are within the cell. In vitro reactions are isolated metabolic reactions, and these are not living things but surely living reactions. And biological enzymes in the living organisms drives these chemical reactions. In vitro means we have to perform a reaction in the glass. Vitro means glass. Another defining feature is cellular organization. Living organisms are made up of four levels of organization. Those are cell, tissue, organs, and organ system. In this schematic diagram, we can observe the tissue system, organ system, and organism. And tissue is a group of cells that have a similar structure and that functions together as a function. Various tissues are functionally grouped together to form organs. And organ system is a group of organs that work together in the body to perform a complex functions such as pumping blood or processing and utilizing nutrients. In unicellular organisms, the organization is up to only cellular level. Here we can observe the example yeast. It is unicellular eukaryote. And in plants, the organization is up to organ level only. Coming into the animals, the organization is up to organism level. If we see here, the cells forms tissue, tissues forms organ forms organ system, and it forms a complete organism. And property of tissue is not present in its constituent cells but arises due to interaction between them. Another defining feature is consciousness. Consciousness means ability to sense the change in environmental conditions is the consciousness. That means perception of a stimulus and immediate response. That is called consciousness. Stimuli means change in the environmental conditions, and these are mainly of three types: physical, chemical, and biological stimulus. Physical stimulus examples are light, temperature. For chemical stimuli, examples are laughing gas, that is nothing but nitrous oxide. And biological stimuli means mosquito irritation, mosquito bite. Here we can see the physical stimulus. Photoperiod affects reproduction in seasonal breeders, both in plants and in animals. And the last one is chemical stimulus. When we inhale the laughing gas, we can laugh anything. That is the chemical stimulus. And biological stimulus means when mosquito bites, it can cause irritation and itching. Here we can observe the stimulus and response in auditory transduction. And self-consciousness means it is exclusively exhibited by human beings. This is the highest degree of consciousness. And a person in coma, it is a medical state, technically a brain dead person. So we cannot consider that condition. So that patient has no self-consciousness. Okay, this is the exception from the self-consciousness. And thank you. This is the end of the part 1 from Swarup Kumar.